The first-class passengers of the Titanic awoke to mornings that belonged more to dreams than to the waking world. The ship moved through the Atlantic as if carried by gentle hands. From inside, it rarely felt like movement at all, more like floating. In the early hours, soft sunlight filtered through portholes and windows, turning the rooms into pockets of quiet gold. Inside a typical first-class stateroom, everything seemed arranged for rest. Delicate wallpaper in pastel hues. Carved wood that held the warmth of the lamps long after they were extinguished. Plush carpets that softened every step. Stewards moved gently through the hallways with trays of breakfast, silver pots of tea, freshly baked rolls, soft-boiled eggs in porcelain cups. If a passenger preferred breakfast in their room, it was delivered with care, never hurried, never loud. One might imagine a millionaire settling against soft pillows, listening to the faint hum of the ship, savoring the simplicity of buttered toast and warm tea. There was no rush to dress. No urgent business. Only slow mornings, quiet conversations, and the endless rhythm of the sea. Even the air felt still, as though holding its breath. After breakfast, passengers slowly dressed for the day, a process that in 1912 was both an art and a soothing ritual. For gentlemen, the choices were simple but elegant. Freshly pressed shirts with stiff collars. Smooth wool suits. Polished shoes that clicked softly along the hallway. For ladies, mornings offered calm moments before the social pace of the day picked up. Jewelry was chosen with thought, not haste. Dresses were selected based on the day's activities. Lighter fabrics for strolling the promenade, warmer pieces for time spent in the reading rooms. Maids and valets moved with quiet precision, helping with buttons, arranging hair, brushing jackets. But none of it felt intrusive. Everything in first class existed to make life smooth, effortless, calm. And as passengers prepared themselves, the Titanic breathed softly beneath them. A gentle, floating palace. Stepping onto the first-class promenade felt like entering another world entirely. The air outside was fresh and crisp, carrying the faint scent of the ocean, clean, cool, and endless. But the deck itself remained cozy and calm. Enclosed in glass, it offered protection from the wind while still giving passengers a perfect view of the sea. Chairs lined the edges, each one paired with a plaid blanket for warmth. Even the wood beneath one's feet felt warm, absorbing the morning light. Millionaires strolled leisurely along the walkway, some alone, some in pairs. Conversations were quiet, polite, and unhurried. A gentleman reading the newspaper. A lady admiring the horizon. A couple walking slowly side by side, their steps soft and rhythmic. Now and then, the ship's gentle vibrations hummed beneath the deck, a soothing reminder of the engines far below, always steady, always reliable. There was no destination on these morning walks. Only the pleasure of moving slowly through peaceful air. Few places on the Titanic were as peaceful as the first-class library. Nestled in a quiet area of the ship, the library was a sanctuary of soft carpets and warm light. Rows of polished wooden shelves held volumes of poetry, travel writing, and classic novels. The room was designed for comfort, plush chairs, soft brown leather, tables just the right height for resting a book. Passengers often spent late mornings here, turning pages slowly, savoring passages, or simply watching the shifting patterns of light as the ocean reflected through the windows. Some wrote letters on elegant stationery. Others studied the day's shipboard newspaper, printed fresh each night in the Titanic's own press room. There was a constant air of tranquility. The quiet rustle of pages. The occasional gentle clink of a teacup. Everything seemed softened, wrapped in a hush. Here, time itself moved gently. As midday approached, the first-class dining saloon became the ship's gentle heart. The room was vast but not overwhelming. Soft colors, elegant wood paneling, and tall windows created an atmosphere of calm refinement. Tables were dressed in crisp white linen, the china delicate, the silver polished to a warm glow. Passengers arrived slowly, often lingering at the entrance to admire the peaceful grandeur of the space. Lunch was not simply a meal, it was a leisurely ritual. Courses arrived unhurriedly, light soups, fresh salads, soft breads, tender fish. Conversations here were gentle and pleasant. A discussion of travel plans. A quiet comment about the weather. Soft laughter that never rose too high. The clinking of silverware and the faint hum of the engines joined in a rhythm that felt almost like a lullaby. Everything, even dining, was designed to soothe. In the late afternoon, one of the loveliest spaces aboard the Titanic welcomed passengers for tea, the palm court. Imagine wicker chairs grouped in small, cozy circles. Tall potted palms brushing the soft edges of the ceiling. Sunlight filtering through stained glass windows, casting gentle patterns on the floor. Tea was served with biscuits, cakes, and small sandwiches. Everything in miniature, everything delicate. And the atmosphere, like a warm exhale. Passengers sipped slowly, visited quietly, or simply sat with their thoughts, listening to the distant, steady heartbeat of the ship. Time moved softly here, like a lazy breeze. As the day drifted toward evening, the grand staircase glowed in soft lamplight, warm and golden. The famous dome overhead collected the last hints of daylight, turning them into a gentle halo. The mahogany rails shone with polished warmth. The carpeted steps invited unhurried movement. Passengers often gathered here, not hurriedly, but drifting in and out like calm tides. The atmosphere was peaceful, as though the staircase itself exhaled a slow, steady breath. Every detail, the bronze cherub, the graceful curve of the railing, felt softened by the hour. In the quiet of dusk, the staircase was more than a passageway. It was a sanctuary of warm light.